Welcome to Desk Geek. Listen, it's very important that you keep your money safe. If you're stuffing it in a mattress or in a wall, well, that's a pretty dangerous idea. So most likely you're using a bank and you want to find the best bank out there to get the best bang for your buck. You want one that's not intrusive, one that's not charging you fees, one that's not making up ways to take that hard-earned money away from you like everybody else seems to do. So I was in the market for a bank recently, namely because the small community bank I was doing business with got bought. I wasn't told about it until I received a new debit card in the mail from this other bank, thinking my identity was stolen or something else. And the new bank is just really a POS. So I decided I need to go out there and find a new bank and spend some time in it. Now, a lot of folks will talk about doing business with small community banks, and there is a plus doing business with those small banks in that if you can build a relationship with them, you have a higher likelihood of getting a loan for small business, maybe even personal loans and things like that. But I didn't end up really getting a relationship with the bank because I did most of my banking online, and I think a lot of us have started going that way. So it really wasn't a benefit for me to be a part of that community bank, even though I kind of wanted to do something business with someone a little smaller. So the next big thing is a credit union. You'll hear lots of people talking about credit unions. So what's the difference between credit unions? Well, I break it down here. Credit unions are not-for-profit financial institutions, so they're not trying to make nickel and dime and make money off you in every way they can. It's a cooperative, so if they make a certain amount of earnings, they will pay it back to the individual members. Generally, there are criteria for you to join those credit unions, but that criteria has shifted a lot. And there are a lot of different ways that even if you don't work for a company that has a credit union or in a big industry like telecom or something along those lines that have their own credit unions that you can sign up for, you can still get a membership by doing some simple things, which I'll talk about here. So this is the list I came up with of the top 7 banks. Now, how did I come up with this list? Well, what I did is I went through all the user reviews on several different sites, and I just kept looking at the banks that repeated across multiple websites. So I looked at best banks for users, best banks for small business, all that type of keywords into search engine, and these are the names: Alliant, Conexus, Ally, Discover, Chase, and Bank 5 that consistently appeared on enough of those websites that they got listed here on this spreadsheet. So these are the ones that I decided, after seeing their names pop up over and over again and seeing the user reviews and reading some of the actual comments, that deserve for me to take a deeper look as I was on my mission for a new bank. So I didn't want to rule something out just because it wasn't a credit union. I wanted to find where my money was going to make the most back for me, and also where it had the most features that someone like myself, who uses a lot of mobile banking, could benefit from, and had the security that I needed in order to make sure that my finances are safe. So we'll start at the top here. The first 2 are credit unions. Alliant is a credit union. You can join them if you work for a company that's partnered with Alliant, or you can make a $10 one-time donation, just $10 to foster care on their website, and that will make you eligible to join the credit union. So you don't have to have any special requirements out of that $10 donation, which, why wouldn't you want to make that donation anyways? They're not FDIC insured. No credit union really is. They get insured by NCUA, but the insurance is the same, meaning they provide the exact same coverage that the federal government or FDIC provides. So there's really no big difference there, and you don't have any fears or worry about your money in a credit union or a corporate account. They're both insured and backed by those agencies. For user reviews, it got a 4.5, which is the highest out of every bank on here. And they have online mobile banking. They send and receive money, so you can send person to person money, so you don't have to use PayPal and that type of thing. You can do it right through the banking site itself, which is a really cool feature that a lot of these banks have now. Anytime you see, when you're looking down this list, question marks, that doesn't mean they don't have that feature. That means I couldn't find it on their website easy enough for me to be able to say one way or another that that feature is available. I would look for each of these features on their site, and if I didn't see it with a few minutes of looking, then I just put a question mark there because I really don't know. And if you work for one of these companies and you know the answer, feel free to comment below and let me know, hey, Conexus does have send receive money option, and they utilize this feature. I've had that happen on other videos where employees work for certain companies and they'll add in things that I've missed. It just means I couldn't find it on the website. Doesn't mean they don't have the feature. Monthly maintenance fees, there's none. You've got mobile deposit, so you could take pictures of the checks and put them in there, which I utilize a lot. No minimum balance on your checking. You get free credit scores through Alliant, so that is a very big plus. You get budget planning, and very, very good budget planning. They've got graphs and everything to show you where you're spending your money, etc. So very similar to like a Quickens or a Mint, a service like that. You get ATM reimbursement, so they don't have ATMs everywhere, but you get reimbursed for those ATM fees, which is fantastic. You get savings interest at 0.995, so almost a full percent, which is very, very high. You can see there's only a couple that are higher on here. And then checking interest at 0.648%, which again, very, very high, great interest rate for your checking account. They discuss security, but they didn't give a whole ton of specifics on how they do their security. And maybe that's part of their security plan there, but the site certainly looked like it was very modernized. The security systems that they had in place, which I won't go into a ton of detail that I was researching, looked very solid. Everything was set up on what you would expect from a high-end bank. They had all of those services in place to secure your information and encrypt it as it was going through. So Alliant Credit, they were definitely one of the top banks out there. You've got Conexus, which was another credit union, again, insured through NCUA. I could not find any user reviews for this, which kind of gave it a real minus for me. There were a couple sites that had like 1 or 2 reviews on it. A lot of websites mentioned Conexus, so it's very popular, and I think they mentioned it because it has an incredible savings interest rate at 1.35%, checking interest at 0.25. I felt their website was a little dated, and I can show you some of that here. So we've talked about these 2 banks. Let me bring up their site. So this is Alliant's website as an example. So very, very nice site and has tons of information for you. They also have, of course, their mobile app, and this is Conexus. So it's not terrible. It just, to me, felt a little bit dated compared to some of the other sites that I was looking at. And they've got a couple of categories of checking accounts and things that you can sign up for. And for any of these rates, I went with what the lowest rate was that I could find, the lowest APR. So some of them, if you had like $10,000 in the account, you could get a higher APR. I went with the lowest because I figure that's where most people are going to fall into, especially when you're switching banks and you're trying to move money around and all this type of stuff. So that can be difficult, or maybe you're going to keep multiple banks. So I just went with the lowest APR, not taking into effect if you had a higher balance. Most of them, I think, were over 10 grand. Then you could get additional percentages in your interest, etc., from the money that you have stored. You can also join them with $5 donation to charity. United Way was one of the options there. Let's see, you've got online mobile banking. I couldn't find what service or if any that they use to send money directly. If you wanted to send money to somebody. So that wasn't there. Monthly maintenance fees, no. Mobile deposit, yes. Minimum balance checking, no. The free credit score via TransUnion link. So they give you the TransUnion link that you can go to, anybody can go to and kind of get their credit score for free once a year. Budget planning, they had their ATM reimbursement. Again, fantastic interest rate savings there. So the security and everything was okay. And didn't see any major issues there, but felt Alliant was a little superior, even though they have a little less on the interest just because of the modernization and some of the additional options that it had. Ally, now that we're into the corporate section, was really the best bank out of the 4. So you've got Ally, Discover, Chase, and Bank 5. Bank 5 came up many times, but again, couldn't find specific user reviews on websites saying it was a fantastic bank. But between the name and the site design, it just kind of felt antiquated to me, and I really didn't know if I trusted putting my money there. And maybe that's just me being, too picky, but they do offer some great perks. And like I said, there was a lot of websites that said that they're a fantastic company. But Ally, as far as corporate goes, they had 4.1 was their average, so they were the second highest in user reviews for the score. So Ally Bank, you've probably seen their commercials during Super Bowls and things. So they're not as big as like a Bank of America or Discover Chase, but they're certainly a well-known entity out there. They have all the features across the board, except I couldn't find whether they give you a free credit score. So maybe like Conexus, they just want you to go to TransUnion, one of the other free sites. And there was no budget planning that I could see there outside of, course sheets and things that you could fill out on your own. They did have reimbursement up to $10 though. So if it was anything over that for the ATMs, you would be charged. The saving interest was at 1% and checking at 0.10. Site was very well laid out with lots of information. I love that they provide WebRoot for free, which is one of my favorite antivirus firewall programs for customers to help protect them. So I thought that was awesome. And advertises they're not liable for unauthorized purchases up to 60 days. So they advertise you're not liable up to 60 days for unauthorized purchases. And I thought it was cool that they put that as a big plus. So if somebody steals your information, starts making purchases, you've got 60 days to say, hey, something's wrong, and get that taken care of. The other sites here, Discover, so they were a lot of websites had listed them. They have 60,000 ATMs that you can use for free, but I could not find any ATM reimbursement on the ones that were outside of their network. Couldn't see where you could send money to individuals, free credit score. They really seemed heavily geared towards credit card-like rewards and a credit card-like service, and just didn't seem like the right choice for me. Chase on here, I ended up stopping research on them. They wanted your zip code just to give you information. So they basically, based on the area, they must give you different deals and things, which I'm not a big fan of. No fee at Chase ATMs, but you're liable for use charges from the owners. Interest rates not well advertised. The whole site felt very unfriendly and corporate to me, and that's why I went away with them. And of course, we mentioned Bank 5 here already, and there were a couple things I couldn't find: the user reviews, the free credit, and the budget planning. They did offer ATM reimbursement, the saving interest at 0.9, which is very good. It's within most of the ranges here, although they could pump that up a little bit, and 0.76 if you have $100 or more. So let's just take a look at the sites real quick again. So you've got Alliant, the credit union, you've got Conexus Credit Union, you have Ally here, which I thought they had, a lot of great information here on their rates and everything, very easy to find. You have Discover's checking, which they have lots of diagrams and information, but some of the details that I was looking for weren't there. Chase, there you go, wants the zip code right away before they tell you anything. And then you've got Bank 5 Connect, which their site is okay. There's a lot of videos and things like that on this site to kind of talk about their products, which I thought was kind of neat. So in any case, at the end of the day, I think your two best choices here are Alliant and Ally, and I definitely went with one of those banks. So those are the choices that I would recommend to you, but you can take a look closer at the spreadsheet and decide if one of these other banks is a better option. But I thought this information would be helpful because I went through all this research and I thought, what the heck, other people are probably looking for a bank and this may help them too. So I hope this video helped. Leave your comments below. I'd be interested to know what bank you've worked with, or whether you love credit unions, hate them, love corporate banks, hate them, or what made you decide the bank to go to, and let me know about it. And until then, get out there and fill your brain.
Don't get subscribed. Does not like the video.